Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into one of Marvel's most sinister and influential magical artifacts, the Darkhold, often referred to as the Book of Sins or Book of the Damned. Written by the Elder God Chthon, this ancient tome is imbued with powerful dark magic, containing spells capable of bending reality, summoning demons, and corrupting the souls of those who dare to read it. It has been both a source of temptation and a tool of destruction for countless characters across the Marvel Universe, including iconic figures like the Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, and Werewolf by Night. The Darkhold's influence stretches beyond individual characters, seeping into multiple dimensions and shaping the course of Marvel's mystical and supernatural realms. If you're eager to dive into the mysteries of this forbidden tome, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay updated with all things Marvel. Now, let's get started. The Darkhold, ominously known as the Book of the Damned, first emerged in Marvel Spotlight issue 4, 1972, under the vision of writer Steve Gerber and artist Mike Plude. This ancient tome's origins are linked directly to the primordial chaos god Chthon. Among the oldest and most malevolent entities in Marvel lore, Chthon was part of the first wave of godlike beings born from Earth's mystical energies. Unlike his siblings, who embraced creation or elemental power, Chthon sought to master chaos itself. His immense knowledge and chaotic magic predated all mortal sorcery. Faced with Demogorge, the God Eater, a god formed from the combined might of the Earth's pantheon to eliminate chaotic beings, Chthon abandoned the earthly plane, but not without leaving behind a failsafe. To preserve his power and maintain a link to Earth, he inscribed his chaos spells onto fleshy, indestructible scrolls, later referred to as the Darkhold parchments. This sinister work became the core of Chthon's legacy, allowing him to exert subtle influence across dimensions, especially near the powerful ley lines converging at Mount Wundagore, where he had hidden his dark magic. The Darkhold's first significant impact on Earth occurred during the era of Atlantis and Lemuria, civilizations steeped in mysticism and sorcery. The sorcerer Thulsa Doom, an early Darkhold follower who led a cult devoted to Chthon, discovered its dark potential. Seeking eternal power, he used one of the Darkhold spells to create Varney, the first vampire. This curse, embedded within Varney's very being, granted him immortality at the price of a monstrous thirst for blood. Varney's transformation went beyond mere physical alteration. It fundamentally rewrote the laws of life and death, establishing a lineage of vampires that would endure through the ages. This moment exemplified the Darkhold's ability to alter reality itself, and it seeded terror and corruption that would ripple through history, leading to the emergence of vampire societies and unending battles with humanity's defenders. Through the creation of vampires, the Darkhold set into motion a constant battle between those who sought to harness its dark power, such as various vampire lords and sorcerers, and those who fought to protect Earth from these creations. The Montesi formula, developed centuries later, would eventually become one of humanity's most significant weapons against the vampire curse, marking the Darkhold's lingering influence on Earth's mystical struggles. The scrolls of the Darkhold circulated across the ancient world, whispered of in Babylonian temples, Egyptian necropolises, and among early mystics. These fragments carried immense influence, tainting those who studied them with visions of power. The Darkhold's first true binding, however, came centuries later when Morgan Le Fay, an iconic figure in Arthurian legend, discovered these scattered scrolls. Possessing an innate talent for black magic and ambition for control, Morgan sought out the Darkhold as the ultimate tool to cement her dominance. After retrieving the scattered scrolls, she painstakingly compiled them into a single tome. This act of binding served as both a physical and metaphysical anchor, creating the Darkhold in the form that would endure across generations. Her ritual was not without consequence. She briefly summoned Chthon himself, who appeared as an ethereal presence. While her knowledge was vast, it was no match for an elder god's malice. Chthon's partial summoning created a residual connection between his essence and Mount Wundagore, leaving a gateway for future manipulation. Morgan's lover and confidant, the sorcerer Magnus, saw the doom this union could bring. Fearing the cataclysmic implications of Morgan's ambitions, he betrayed her, taking the Darkhold and safeguarding it in an enchanted tower on the Isle of Wight. Only those of pure heart or those undeterred by the cost could access the tower, protecting the world from Morgan's dark ambitions. Over the centuries, the Darkhold fell into the hands of those seeking power, often at a fatal cost. Modred, a talented mystic in the time of King Arthur, sought to master the Darkhold to protect Camelot. His decision led to tragedy when he encountered the other, an aspect of Chthon, who served as a dark avatar. The other tempted Modred, promising power in exchange for loyalty. Modred's acceptance condemned him to a death-like state and transformed him into Chthon's unwitting servant, waiting for the day his master would call upon him again. In the early Christian era, the church recognized the Darkhold's corrupting influence and sought to contain it. Saint Brendan, a legendary figure, took it upon himself to scatter the Darkhold's pages across different lands. This effort aimed to weaken its unified influence and limit the book's power by rendering it incomplete. However, whispers of its dark magic continued to reach occult circles, signaling that its threat was far from eradicated. Despite St. Brendan's efforts, the Darkhold's influence remained a hidden threat. By 1149 AD, at the Abbey of St. Michel in Spain, Aelfric, a mad monk, attempted to reassemble the scattered pages. He was burned at the stake, but the indestructible scrolls of Chthon endured, illustrating the book's relentless survival through history. Centuries later, the scrolls came into the possession of Pope Eugene VIII, who entrusted them to Paolo Montesi, a devoted Vatican scholar. Declaring Paolo the Darkhold's official custodian, the Pope decreed that the scrolls be rebound, creating what would become known as the Book of Sins. Furthermore, Paolo was tasked with founding a lineage of protectors, ensuring that the Montesi family would carry this dark responsibility through the ages. In time, Varney, the first vampire, and the creation of the Darkhold, became aware of the book's reformation within the church's custody. Seeking to reclaim it, Varney led an assault on Rome, clashing with Paolo Montesi. Despite Paolo's strong defense, the vampire lord ultimately defeated him. However, Paolo's legacy lived on through his newborn son, ensuring the Montesi family's continued role as guardians of the Darkhold and creators of the Montesi formula, a potent weapon against vampires that would play a crucial role in the ongoing fight against darkness. Father Giacomo Montesi, a member of a secret Vatican order and the son of Paolo Montesi, sought to recompile the Darkhold's scattered pages. Giacomo confirmed that the scroll containing the Montesi formula had not been among those his father had bound. He realized that it must have been taken eastward during the Hyborian Age. To retrieve the missing scroll, Giacomo sent expeditions to Tibet, but was assassinated by one of Varney's human agents before a trade could be made with the 9 wise men of Kamar Taj. When the scroll was eventually brought back to the Vatican and bound into the Darkhold, the long-sought spell had already become known as the Montesi formula. However, since the language of the scroll had not yet been fully deciphered, the spell could not be spoken. Following the events surrounding Paolo Montesi and the Vatican's attempts to contain the Darkhold, Count Dracula, an ancient vampire lord, came into direct conflict with the Tome's dark magic. Hearing of the Montesi formula and its deadly power to eradicate vampires, Dracula sought to claim the Darkhold for himself. His ambition was twofold: to destroy the formula and to harness the ancient magic within the Tome to further his own power. Count Dracula, desperate to obtain the power within the Darkhold, forced a skilled thief named Murgo to infiltrate the heavily guarded Vatican library and steal the ancient text. Murgo managed to elude the library's defenses and abscond with the Darkhold, but his success was short-lived. Before he could complete his mission and deliver the coveted tome to Dracula, Murgo encountered the enigmatic sorcerer Cagliostro. Recognizing the Darkhold's immense power, Cagliostro ambushed Murgo, killing him and seizing the Darkhold for himself. With the book now in his possession, Cagliostro vanished into the shadows, leaving Dracula deprived of the powerful artifact he had schemed so hard to obtain. Throughout his quest, Dracula repeatedly clashed with the Montesi family, who had become the Vatican's appointed guardians of the Darkhold. These battles were intense and brutal, with Dracula summoning legions of undead to seize the tome. While Paolo Montesi and his successors managed to thwart Dracula's attempts, the vampire lord's relentless pursuit highlighted the Darkhold's power to shape destinies and ignite ancient rivalries. This ongoing conflict between the Montesi line and Dracula solidified the Montesi family's legacy as protectors not only of the Darkhold's dark spells, but also against the vampiric forces threatening humanity's survival. In more recent times, the Darkhold's influence continued to plague families and lineages. Gregor Russoff, a 20th century occultist, obtained the Darkhold while researching his ancestral ties. Unintentionally, his study of the book activated a latent family curse, transforming him into a werewolf. The curse continued through Russoff's bloodline, affecting his descendants, including Jack Russell, who became the infamous werewolf by night. The Russoff family's curse, which dates back to their connection to the Darkhold, highlights the enduring influence of the book on Earth's mystical world. Their transformation into werewolf serves as an ongoing reminder of the Darkhold's ability to corrupt and alter the fate of families for generations. These changes also drew the attention of dark magic practitioners, supernatural beings, and even the Vatican, who recognized the increasing threat of the Tome in the modern age. The connection between the Darkhold and Scarlet Witch is a cornerstone in Marvel's exploration of chaos magic and forbidden knowledge. Wanda Maximoff, known as the Scarlet Witch, was born with an innate affinity for chaos magic, making her a prime candidate for the Darkhold's dark influence. Scarlet Witch's connection to the Darkhold runs deep, intertwined with her very origins. Shortly before Wanda Maximoff's birth, Her mother, Magda, took refuge at Wundagore Mountain, unaware that it was the ancient stronghold of the Elder God Chthon. Shortly after giving birth, Magda left, determined to keep the twins hidden from their father, Magneto, forever changing the path of their lives. Bound to the mountain, Chthon sensed Wanda's potential and subtly imbued her with a fragment of his chaotic essence. This dark gift would eventually shape Wanda's destiny, amplifying her natural affinity for chaos magic and linking her to the forbidden knowledge contained within the Darkhold. Though initially a mutant with reality-warping powers, the primal forces awakened in Wanda by Chthon's influence unlocked untold potential, ultimately making her one of the most powerful and volatile wielders of magic in the Marvel Universe. Under the tutelage of Agatha Harkness, a powerful sorceress with deep ties to the mystical realms, Wanda began to understand and hone her powers. Agatha, who had lived for centuries, was no stranger to the Darkhold and had witnessed its corrupting influence on various magic users throughout history. Recognizing Wanda's incredible yet volatile power, she took it upon herself to guide her, hoping to shield Wanda from the temptations and dangers posed by artifacts like the Darkhold. Agatha knew that Wanda's powers made her susceptible to influence from Chthon, especially given Wanda's unintentional connection to chaos magic, a force Chthon himself created and personified. However, Agatha's protective mentorship could only shield Wanda so much. The Darkhold, drawn to Wanda's chaos magic, began to exert its influence in subtle ways. In a harrowing storyline, Chthon managed to possess Wanda briefly, marking her as one of his most significant avatars. Chthon's presence within Wanda didn't just amplify her abilities, it reshaped her understanding of magic, introducing her to the darker aspects of her power. This possession left a deep psychological scar, one that would complicate her relationship with magic and herself for years. Agatha's intervention helped disrupt Chthon's hold, but Wanda's exposure to the Darkhold had forever tainted her connection to chaos magic, sowing the seeds for her later conflicts with dark magic. Meanwhile, the Darkhold's influence extended to Carnage, who encountered the malevolent Tome after being attacked by the Darkholders, a cult devoted to Chthon's revival. The cult stabbed Carnage in a ritual, and his blood splattered onto the Darkhold, triggering a dark fusion between its arcane power and his symbiote. Empowered and rendered nearly invincible, Carnage became obsessed with unlocking the book's secrets, using its magic to create Rays, a monstrous symbiote ally, and initiating plans to free Chthon from his prison. Victoria Montesi, a protector of the Darkhold, opposed Carnage's rampage. Drawing on her expertise and the book's own counterspells, she confronted him in a climactic battle. Montesi resealed Chthon and severed Carnage's connection to the Darkhold, stripping him of his enhanced powers and the Ray's symbiote. This defeat left Carnage weakened, his ambition to wield godlike power crushed. Scarlet Witch takes on the mantle of the living Darkhold in a desperate bid to prevent Chthon's return to Earth. After Doctor Doom and several other heroes are corrupted by the Darkhold's influence, Wanda steps forward to wield its immense, dangerous power. Knowing that only someone strong enough to handle its chaotic magic could hope to control it, Wanda absorbs the Darkhold's essence, effectively becoming its living embodiment. This transformation grants her unprecedented magical abilities, amplifying her already powerful chaos magic and linking her intrinsically to the Darkhold's dark energies. As the living Darkhold, Wanda embodies all the ancient book's forbidden spells and knowledge, which allows her to channel its vast, destructive potential directly against Chthon. However, this victory comes at a cost. The experience leaves her with a deeper connection to the Darkhold's dark magic, foreshadowing future conflicts with her own powers and identity. Wanda's temporary role as the living Darkhold is a powerful testament to her bravery and resilience, but it also reveals how the book's corruptive influence lingers, seeding darker aspects within her magic. In recent Marvel comics, the Darkhold took on a new, unprecedented form, a living entity. This entity, a mysterious boy, appears to be either a creation born from the Darkhold's pages or a direct manifestation of Chthon's will within the physical realm. This living Darkhold retains the ancient book's powers, but possesses the sentience and agency to enact its will independently. Marvel has presented this boy as a formidable threat, representing the Darkhold's ability to transcend physical form and become an active participant in the mortal world. As a living embodiment of chaos, this boy became an object of intense interest for dark magic practitioners, cults, and heroes alike. Scarlet Witch, Doctor Doom, and other prominent Marvel characters became embroiled in a power struggle centered around him, as they sought to either contain or harness his unique powers. The boy possesses a range of magical abilities reflective of the Darkhold's spells, including reality manipulation, summoning dark entities, and manipulating the minds of those around him. However, unlike the static Darkhold, this boy is a dynamic force capable of adapting to threats and actively defending himself, making him a new and unpredictable variable in the Darkhold's legacy. The Darkhold's journey through Marvel history demonstrates its insidious influence, as its dark magic continues to corrupt and twist the fate of those it touches. From the creation of vampires to its pivotal role in shaping Scarlet Witch's tragic path, the Darkhold serves as a symbol of unchecked power and the dangerous consequences of dabbling with the supernatural. As new generations of heroes and villains face the Darkhold's influence, its dark legacy is sure to haunt the Marvel Universe for years to come. The Darkhold's allure lies in the tremendous power it offers, but these gifts come at a devastating cost. Those who tap into its dark magic find their lives forever altered, as the book's power reshapes them, often in ways they could not foresee. The transformative effects of the Darkhold range from new magical abilities to physical transformations, yet each gift is accompanied by a curse, a corruptive influence that warps the user's intentions, mind, and even body. Wanda Maximoff, also known as the Scarlet Witch, stands as one of the most infamous wielders of the Darkhold's magic. Her connection to chaos magic already positioned her as a prime target for the book's dark influence. When she sought out the Darkhold, Wanda's powers were enhanced to unimaginable levels, but the price was high. The book allowed Chthon to exploit her chaos magic, and at one point, he even possessed her. Though Agatha Harkness intervened, Wanda's immersion in the Darkhold left lasting scars on her psyche, amplifying the chaos within her and leading to moral conflicts that would define her journey in the Marvel Universe. Werewolf by Night, Jack Russell, the unfortunate inheritor of a family curse tied to the Darkhold, represents one of the most tragic examples of the book's transformative effects. His ancestor, Gregor Russoff, first obtained the Darkhold, seeking to harness its power. However, his actions triggered a werewolf curse that afflicted his bloodline. This curse passed down to Jack, transforming him into a creature of the night with an uncontrollable bloodlust. Jack's life became a constant struggle to manage his curse, showing how the Darkhold's influence can linger through generations, binding entire families to dark fates. Morgan Le Fay, a legendary sorceress with roots in Arthurian legend, Morgan Le Fay embodies the seductive nature of the Darkhold's gifts. As an early compiler of the Darkhold scrolls, Morgan gathered the scattered parchments, creating the unified tome and using its spells to amass vast power. This act made her one of the most pivotal figures in the book's history, but it came at a cost. Her ambition and lust for power often led her back to the Darkhold. Her first recent connection to the ancient tome occurred when she sought its dark magic to amplify her abilities. Morgan aimed to conquer realms and manipulate reality itself, seeing the Darkhold as a means to achieve her apocalyptic vision. Mordred the Mystic, an Arthurian-era sorcerer, Mordred attempted to use the Darkhold to protect Camelot, but he was seduced by the other, an agent of Chthon. This dark entity transformed Mordred, enslaving him to Chthon's will. Mordred's loyalty to Chthon remains unwavering, and he often serves as a pawn to the Darkhold's influence, reflecting the book's ability to manipulate even well-intentioned users into servitude. Carnage, as an avatar of chaos, Carnage's connection to the Darkhold is both natural and deeply unsettling. Not only did Carnage seek the tome to unlock its eldritch knowledge, but he was also prophesied within its pages. The Darkhold foretold his emergence as a harbinger of destruction, aligning his chaotic nature with Chthon's own apocalyptic designs. Carnage actively pursued the Darkhold, aiming to exploit its chaos-fueled spells and ascend to godlike power. This prophecy-driven connection turned him into a metaphysical threat, extending his influence beyond physical carnage to destabilizing reality itself. By drawing on the Darkhold's pages, Carnage embodied the book's ultimate purpose, amplifying darkness and unleashing it on the world. Though Victoria Montesi severed Carnage's link to the Darkhold, the encounter left scars that ran deeper than power alone. The book's influence fueled his obsession with destruction, showing how even a being as chaotic as Carnage could be further corrupted. His brief bond with the Darkhold underscores the grimoire's insidious ability to exploit its wielder's darkest tendencies, leaving them forever marked by its influence. The Darkhold is not just a book of spells, it's an artifact of corruption and temptation, designed to lure and ensnare those who seek its power. Its pages contain incantations, rituals, and forbidden knowledge crafted by Chthon himself, offering the reader untold abilities, but always at a tremendous personal cost. The spells within the Darkhold vary in scope and intensity, granting abilities that range from necromancy and chaos manipulation to reality warping and curse binding. Each spell is a double-edged sword, giving its user incredible gifts while simultaneously drawing them deeper into Chthon's web of influence. Chaos magic amplification. For those with an innate affinity, like Scarlet Witch, the Darkhold can amplify chaos magic exponentially. Wanda's reality warping abilities, for example, reach new heights through her connection with the Darkhold, allowing her to reshape the very fabric of existence itself. Summoning and binding dark entities. The Darkhold enables users to summon dark forces and entities from other dimensions. For instance, followers of Chthon have used the Darkhold to call forth demonic servants, which serve the wielder temporarily but often corrupt or betray them in the end. Mind control and possession. One of the more insidious powers of the Darkhold is its ability to enable mind control, possession, and manipulation. Chthon used this very spell to attempt to control Wanda Maximoff, showcasing how the Darkhold can turn even the strongest minds against themselves and others. Resurrection and Undeath. The Darkhold contains spells that can resurrect the dead or bind a soul to the mortal plane, creating powerful undead beings. This ability has given rise to creatures like vampires and various undead sorcerers throughout history, including the origin of Varney, the first vampire, who was created through Darkhold magic. Transformation curses. The Darkhold has been known to place transformation curses on those who delve too deeply into its secrets. One of the most infamous examples is Gregor Russoff, whose interaction with the Darkhold triggered a lycanthropic curse in his bloodline, creating the Werewolf by Night lineage. This curse, unlike most magical transformations, is passed down generationally, binding future descendants to the Darkhold's influence. The Montesi Formula. Perhaps one of the few positive creations within the Darkhold, the Montesi Formula is a unique spell designed to eradicate vampires. It has become a valuable tool for hunters of the undead, such as Doctor Strange, in combating vampire threats. However, its power is temporary and must be maintained with vigilance. Chthon's Binding Ritual. This powerful incantation allows one to bind a portion of Chthon's essence into the user or into another host. This ritual is most often used to empower a wielder with chaos magic, but leaves them permanently marked by Chthon's influence, making them vulnerable to his will. Modred the Mystic, who willingly invoked the ritual through the Darkhold, gaining immense power at the cost of becoming Chthon's thrall. In essence, the Darkhold serves as both a grimoire and a trap. Its spells are tantalizingly potent, making it an ideal source of power for those ambitious enough to seek it out. Yet every page turned, every spell cast, drags the user deeper into darkness, tempting them to make decisions they would otherwise avoid. It's a book of promises, but each promise binds its user closer to Chthon's chaotic influence, transforming them in ways they may never be able to reverse. The Darkhold has woven through countless storylines, affecting both individual heroes and the fate of entire worlds. Its dark influence can be felt in major arcs where its pages surface, shaping supernatural conflicts and transforming the Marvel Universe. Here are some of the most defining storylines involving the Darkhold. Marvel Spotlight Issues 4-5. The Darkhold first makes its ominous appearance, marking the beginning of its dark legacy in the Marvel Universe. In these issues, the Darkhold is revealed to be connected to Jack Russell, the Werewolf by Night. Jack discovers that his lycanthropy is not just a random curse, but one tied to his family's ancient involvement with the Darkhold, a book of dark magic crafted by the primordial demon Chthon. In this story, the scholar Aelfric, the Mad Monk, seeks to control the book's forbidden knowledge, hoping to use it for his own gain. The Darkhold's introduction here sets the stage for its recurring role in Marvel's supernatural stories, solidifying its place as a source of immense, corrupting power. This marks the beginning of the Darkhold's influence over characters like Jack Russell, who becomes a tragic pawn in its dark legacy. Dracula Lives, Issue 6. The Darkhold becomes crucial to one of the most iconic battles against Dracula. The vampire-slaying Montesi formula, derived from the Darkhold, is revealed to be the key to eradicating vampires across the world. The story takes a dark turn as Dracula seeks to destroy it to ensure he and his kin reign remains unchallenged. The Darkhold's connection to this plot highlights its power to not only corrupt, but also to be wielded for noble purposes, despite its origins in evil. This marks a significant moment in Marvel history, demonstrating the book's ability to shape events on a global scale, while showcasing its deep ties to vampire lore. The Montesi formula remains a key part of the Darkhold's legacy, particularly in stories involving vampires and magic. Marvel Chillers Issues 1-2. The Darkhold's influence spreads as Modred the Mystic, a recurring figure in Marvel's magical community, succumbs to the book's dark pull. Modred, a powerful sorcerer, becomes a servant of the Darkhold, his descent into madness and corruption driven by the book's sinister knowledge. This storyline further establishes the Darkhold as a force of evil that seeks to control and destroy those who come into contact with it. Modred's transformation also highlights the destructive nature of the book, as it preys on even the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. The Darkhold continues to haunt its users, binding them in a never-ending struggle with its dark magic. Avengers Issues 186-188. The Darkhold's influence on Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, is explored more deeply. These issues reveal the tragic truth about Wanda's origin and her connection to Chthon, the demon who created the Darkhold. it is revealed that Wanda's latent chaos magic is tied to the primal forces of the Darkhold, a power that she unknowingly taps into as she struggles to control her powers. The story's exploration of Wanda's relationship with the Darkhold begins to shape her future, foreshadowing the significant role the book will play in her descent into chaos magic. These issues are pivotal in establishing the Darkhold's role in Wanda's ongoing battle with her identity and the forces that manipulate her. Darkhold, Pages from the Book of Sins, is a limited series that delves deep into the Darkhold's lore, focusing on the creation of a group of heroes known as the Darkhold Redeemers. This storyline follows the Redeemers as they attempt to recover scattered pages of the Darkhold, each page holding immense power capable of unleashing chaos and destruction. The series expands on the nature of the Darkhold as not just a book, but as a source of corruption that manipulates its readers, drawing them into a web of darkness. It also introduces the concept of the book's sentience, as it actively works to shape events and influence those who interact with it. This storyline is key in showcasing the Darkhold's far-reaching consequences and the efforts of those who seek to prevent its absolute domination over the mystical realm. Darkhold, Alpha and Omega. The Scarlet Witch becomes the living Darkhold, embodying the book's dark power and sentience. The series follows Wanda Maximoff as she is transformed by the cursed knowledge of the Darkhold, merging with it to become a physical manifestation of its corrupting influence. As the living Darkhold, Wanda holds the book's twisted power, and her reality-warping abilities are amplified to unimaginable levels. She uses her newfound powers to confront the Darkhold's corrupting influence, while other Marvel heroes face deadly trials connected to the book's magic. However, the climax of this arc features an epic showdown between Wanda and Chthon, the ancient elder god responsible for the Darkhold's creation. The battle delves into Wanda's connection to chaos magic and her role as a Nexus being, highlighting her unique ability to challenge the Dark God's plans. Through this confrontation, Wanda struggles to reclaim her autonomy and sever her connection to the Darkhold. Her eventual triumph comes at a great personal cost, as she draws on both her inherent strength and her ties to humanity to push back against Chthon's dominion. This storyline reveals how deeply Wanda is tied to the Darkhold, exploring her internal struggle with its influence, while demonstrating the devastating consequences of her becoming the book's living vessel. Her transformation into the living Darkhold further solidifies the book's role as one of the most powerful and dangerous artifacts in the Marvel Universe, capable of warping both individuals and reality itself, while cementing Wanda as one of the few forces capable of resisting its ultimate corruption. Contest of Chaos. In this event, the Darkhold's influence resurfaces through the machinations of Agatha Harkness. Determined to harness chaos magic, Agatha manipulates Marvel's heroes into battling one another, pitting their unique abilities and strengths against deadly trials influenced by the Darkhold's lingering power. Her ultimate goal is to create a new, more potent version of the Darkhold, one that she can control to amplify her magic and reshape the forces of chaos. Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel play pivotal roles in uncovering and countering Agatha's scheme, uniting to stop her before the recreated Darkhold unleashes catastrophic consequences. In the climactic finale, the recreation of the Darkhold results in a massive magical explosion, seemingly neutralizing its power. However, this act proves to be a double-edged sword. As the chaos energy dissipates, it manifests in the form of a young boy who emerges as the living Darkhold, a sentient embodiment of the book's corrupting essence. This revelation not only leaves Agatha defeated, but also introduces a new and unpredictable threat tied to the forces of Chthon and chaos magic. The emergence of the living Darkhold serves as a chilling reminder of the book's unparalleled influence and the lingering dangers of tampering with its dark spells. The storyline highlights how the Darkhold continues to shape Wanda's and Agatha's actions and decisions, amplifying their influence in the world and reinforcing the ongoing theme of the book's corrupting power. It underscores the Darkhold's persistent impact on reality and its ability to manipulate even the strongest figures in the Marvel Universe. The Darkhold's legacy in the Marvel Universe is one of unrivaled power and devastating corruption. Its influence stretches across centuries, shaping the fates of countless sorcerers, heroes, and civilizations. From the rise of Chthon to its role in battles against vampires, mystical forces, and chaotic magic, the Darkhold remains a symbol of the dangerous allure of ultimate knowledge. Its pages have not only advanced Marvel's mystical lore, but have also reinforced recurring themes of ambition, temptation, and the price of power, solidifying its place as one of the most iconic artifacts in Marvel history. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the dark and mysterious world of the Darkhold. Its story is a fascinating exploration of power, corruption, and the unbreakable ties between magic and chaos in the Marvel Universe. If you enjoyed diving into the legacy of this infamous grimoire, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay tuned for more Marvel deep dives. Share your thoughts on the Darkhold in the comments below, or tell us which Marvel artifact or character you'd like us to cover next. Until next time, keep reading those comics.